So hello everyone, welcome to this another video of this channel. I am Abhishek Verma and you are watching Spring Basics with Spring Boot series. In today's video, we are going to learn about logging in Spring Boot. Logging is something which is enabled by default in Spring Boot. If you have noticed carefully, in the previous Spring Boot videos also, logging was already there. But what we will learn today is that how we can log something from our own classes like demo class, repository or the service class. Then we will see that how we can log in files and not only in the console. We will also see how to maintain so many log files in the actual server. For this, obviously we need to use something around like 5 or 6 properties. But the point is you don't need to remember all those properties. Instead, you as a developer just need to understand the concept. I will tell you the complete way that how you can remember that how to use which particular property at which particular place. So everything is going to be very easy. So now let's directly jump towards our code. So now let's directly jump towards our IDE and let's see the code for today. So for this, we'll go here and as you can see that as always, I have copied from the previous demo and today's demo is going to be demo number 10. So here initially, first of all, there is no big change in pom.xml. I have only updated the artifact ID as demo 10 and name also as demo 10. The version is latest as of now 3.3.2. Then here you see the application.properties file is empty. Then moving on to this particular code. So here we see this is my repository class. Sorry, repository interface. Here you see I'm having only one method, find owner, and it is going to accept the owner ID. Now one small change which I have done in today's demo is that I have added a custom exception also. So I have created a custom exception, owner not found exception. Now I'm not going to tell you more details that how to create a custom exception or how to handle the exceptions and everything. If you want to learn more about this, then it is a common thing of Java only and you can watch the complete video for which I will provide the link somewhere on the top. So you can watch that video and the same thing we are using here. So if you wish to throw a new exception or a custom exception in Spring, you don't need to do anything new. If you know from Java, then the same logic you need to apply here also. So this exception will be thrown and here let's go to repository ampl. So from the name as you see, what I'm doing basically here is that if the owner ID is going to be even, then we will say that owner with this particular owner ID has been found. So we were able to find the owner. In case the owner ID is odd, then we are going to throw the exception. And there also we are just formatting saying that can't find owner with owner ID, something like this. So in the real project, whenever we will be interacting with the database in our next playlist of Spring Data JPA, there you will see more benefits of exceptions and all these things here. As of now, we are just making this also as dummy. Because I told you here our focus is to just learn more about Spring Boot. So this we have done. Now let's move towards the service. So in service also you see we are having two methods, find owner where you can expect some exception also and the modify owner ID. So this one. Then coming on to this service IMPL. So again as always same @ service, I'm auto wiring repository and the owner ID by default value is 10 here. Then here you see find owner, whenever it will be invoked, I'm just invoking the method from the repository as simple as that. And this modify owner ID, we are just changing the owner ID. Simple guys. So now let's simply close all of them. So believe me, we don't need to make any changes in these classes. They are going to remain as it is same. Now let's go to this demo class and see what do we have here. So on the top you see Spring Boot application annotation. I have already explained about this in the previous video and the complete also when I guess in demo number 7 or demo number 8 I have explained about this in detail. Then what is command line runner, this also has been explained. Here we are auto wiring owner service. Then we are going towards the run method. Now if you don't know any about these things, that means you have not watched the video for demo number 7 and demo number 8. Because there all this thing has been explained in detail. Why I'm not writing each and everything in this main method only, why I need to go for this run method, everything has been explained there. Yeah. Now let's see what we are doing basically here. So first of all, I'm invoking this method find owner from the service. So obviously it is going to give me some kind of output. Then once I have done this, then next time I'm taking input from the user. So user will be changing the owner ID, and then I'm modifying the owner ID. Then again with this new owner ID, I'm trying to find the owner. So in short, I'm going to execute find owner method 2 times. First with the default value 10, and next time with the value given by the user. If user gives me a even number, then I will show the output simply. In case user gives me an odd number, then an exception will be thrown, which will be kept here. So I hope that is simple. So now let's execute the code here. So for this, we'll just go here on demo 10 and we will click on start. And now let's see what happens. So again, as always, you can see first of all this banner is coming. Then some logs are coming, but as of now these are default logs. Then you see these statements have been printed here. Owner service sample being created, then repository being created. Then initially it is saying me found owner with owner ID 10. Now if I give some even number, so obviously it is going to provide me the output. So let's click enter, and it gave me the output as 12, and still it is working fine. Now let's execute it again, and this time, so let's give some ID as 13. So now you see what it is saying is can't find owner with owner ID 13. So this is done here. And again you see this is an exception, but since we are catching the exception, so just a simple line got printed instead of the complete stack trace and everything. So this is how the things are working as of now. Now since you are clear with the application, all the changes which I have made in today's application, let's proceed with the main part of logging. So like you see, I told you first of all that the moment you start using Spring Boot, it will provide you logging by default. We don't need to add anything here. So again, if I just show you this pom.xml, so here you will see that I have added only Spring Boot starter, and this also I haven't added explicitly. This comes by default to us, that is Spring Boot starter. And just from this only, so if you go to this dependency hierarchy here, so you can see here within this Spring Boot starter, we are getting the boot, we are getting auto configuration, and we are also getting the logging here. So let me close all others as of now. So we are getting this Spring Boot starter logging by default. Here also it is making usage of logback. So again, as you know that in logging also there are various frameworks available. So by default the framework used for logging is logback. So logback is being used here, and it is also supporting log4j, slf4j, and all these things. So this is how the things are working. Now because of this reason only, if you see, we are getting this kind of log whenever we are starting the application. Let's try to decode what is this log. So first of all, in this log line or any log line you pick, what we get is, let me try to pick this particular statement. So here, first of all, you will see we are getting the date part. So this is today's date. So I'm recording the video on 28th of July. Hence, this is current date. Then this T stands for the time. And this, you see the current time. And this time is in milliseconds. Also, it is showing you the time zone. So this means currently it is 12:54 and something. Here you see 57 because this is just 2-3 minutes old log here. So here you see that this is how it is showing us the complete time with the help of time zone also till millisecond. Then the next part is the logger level. So as you know that in logging there are various levels. So there is information, there is debugging, there is fatal, there is error, there is, and many more different levels are available. So by default these are of information level. Now the next thing is the process ID. So we know that whenever the code and everything gets executed, so there exists some process ID. So this is the process ID for this particular code. This is helpful because in the server, when your actual application is going to run, it may happen that multiple things are getting logged in a single place only. So at that time, again, this process ID is going to be useful to you. Then the next thing is the separator. So this separator simply tells you that after this, I'm going to actually log the message or something related to the real application. And besides this, it is just a general information. What is date, what is time, process ID, and the levels. Post these 3 separator, we will get the actual logging message. Now, here you see the first thing which we are getting in the square brackets is the thread name. So by default, currently you see here there is nothing like multi-threaded environment. So by default, I'm just executing the code, and you know that in Java, the default thread is the main thread. If you don't know, then you can watch the complete multi-threading video also, where I have explained you that why the main thread is your default or the main thread itself. Yeah. So this is your thread name basically here. Then after this, here we will be getting the class from which this log is getting generated. So this log is getting generated from your demo class available in com.abhishekvarma a10 package. So that information is available. And then you see this is what is getting logged by default. So first of all, it will say that it is going to start this demo with the help of this Java version and something like this here. So here also you see it is providing you the process ID. So this process ID is same as, so this process ID is going to be same as this particular process ID. Now after this, it will provide you the complete location. Then it will say no active profile set. This I will explain you later in some different video, not today. And then it will say you that demo has been started in these many seconds. And this is how the things are going to work here, guys. Yeah. So this is the default logging which is already available. Now the thing is that we want something to be logged on our own. So generally you see that we don't want this sysout statement, because my application is going to be stored or deployed in some particular server. Now when it is going to be deployed in a particular server, I am not going to have this kind of console to me. Since console is not going to be available, hence I want it to be logged. So let's see how we can log something on our own. So for this, the only thing which we need to do is that we need to start a logger here. So we will be getting this particular logger, Control Shift O. So here I'm getting this logger here, guys. Now let's provide the variable name. So the variable name, let's say as of now logger only, and here we will say logger factory. So let's say control space, and we will be getting from this logger factory. So this, and then we will say get logger. So this particular one, get logger, and within this what we are going to do is we need to provide the actual class name. So this class name is going to be demo.class. So it is going to look like this. So first you will say logger, this is going to be the data type, this is going to be your variable name, then logger factory, and then we are having the get logger, and all these things we are getting from the SLF4J. So I guess this logger is not getting imported, so let me just say Control Shift O. So again from SLF4J I'm importing this. So this is how I have imported, but as a good practice we should not leave it as default. So let's again make this also as private. Now this particular logger is not something which I'm going to change again and again. So what I will do is I'll make it as static. So it is not related to any particular instance, and neither I'm going to change its value. So as a good practice, we can make it as static and final. And again, one more rule is whenever you are making any variable as static and final, then instead of small case, we can go for the capital case name here, something like this logger. So now we have created our logger here, guys. So in whichever class you want to log something, you just need to add this particular statement of logger. Now once this is done, what I'll do is I'll copy this. Now instead of giving these as sysout statement, what I'll do is I will say this, and here I will say all these levels you will see that we will start getting. So here we will give it as info level. So on info level, we want this to be logged, find owner. So this will be logged on the info level. Then here also let me put this also on the info level, and this one. So this, you see this, I'm going to accept something from the user. So if I will log this also, then you won't see it to appear something like this. So as of now, let's keep this part in sysout only and all the message only in the log format. So that we have done. Then going to this exception, so let's go for this particular one. But exception, you see, we don't want on the info level. We want exceptions on the error level. So let's change the level to error here. So this also we have done. Simple. Logger.info, info error. And again, if you wish, you can change the level as per your choice. So you have options for the debug level also, error level we have already used, info level we have used, then all different tracing level is there, and all other levels are available here. Okay, so that you can decide on your own which one is useful for you at that point of time. Now let's again start the code here. So we will go on this one and let's start. So this time again, you see, as of now it is still same, there is no change, but there is one small change if you noticed. And the change is that this particular statement, found owner with owner ID 10, this time is getting logged instead of getting printed. So this got logged here, and again this log was in the demo class, so hence it said you demo here. And then this is the name of thread main, and this is the process ID, and this is the time. So again all these details. And now let's call it as 13, because for you know that if I give some even number, it will show me the correct output. Yeah, so let's give it 13 so that we can see the error also. So when I say error, or when I give some odd ID, then you will see I'm getting the error. So this time the log level is error here, and here also you see I'm getting kind found owner with owner ID 13. So this is how the things are working. Now many times what happens is that for the errors, only message is not sufficient. You also want to see the complete stack trace also. So with this error level, you are getting one more option. So when we will just click here, so let me show you something like this. So here we are having another option that besides a string, we can also print the complete object itself. So what I'm going to do is I'll print the complete exception here. So now not only the message, but it will show me the complete stack trace in the logs. So now let's do it again from here. So again we have started it, and let's again say this time let's call it as 15. So this time you see what happened. First of all, it mentioned error here, that is the level, and then this is the simplest message, the simple error message which happened, and then it is showing you the complete stack trace. So it says the exact exception was owner not found exception, which is defined in this particular place, and this is the error message. And here you can see from where it is getting generated. So first of all, from the bottom if you start, so we went to this line number 25 of demo. So where it is, so this is going to be located somewhere here. So first of all, it went to this particular location in the run. Then after this you see, then it is going to some internal classes of Spring application. So it went to some internal classes on some places, and then somehow it reached to this line number 35 here. So this is going to be your line number 35 here. So here it came. Post that it came to this line number 28. Then it went to this line number 23, and from here your exception got created. And what was the exception message? That can't find owner with owner ID 15. So this is how you can stack trace the complete thing in the logging also. So this is going to work. Now it is your choice whether you just want to log the message or you want to log the complete thing. So now this we have seen. Yeah, but the things are not going to end here, guys. Okay, there is one more interesting part here. And that interesting part is that in your application.properties, what happens is that here we can give something like the application name. So let's write it something like this, application.name here. Yeah. Now this application name, as of now, let's give it as demo only. And now let's save it again. So generally this application name as of now may not be much useful for us. But generally whenever you are making microservices, and at that time you are let's say you are making usage of some discovery server also, like Eureka or something, at that time this application name is very, very helpful. Okay, because in your discovery server this name is getting used. As of now, if you don't understand all about those discovery servers and everything, then you can just leave. But the main point is this way you can give some name to your application also. Yeah. Now let's see what is the usage of this application name here. So till now you see that we were having logs like this. Yeah. Now let me execute it again. So now when I execute it again, you see we are also getting our application name here. So not only the other things, but you can also print your application name. And this way, it is your choice. Whatever the application name you wish, you can give here. So this is just an add-on part. This application name is going to be printed before your thread name. Rest everything is same here. Yeah. Now, one more thing. The thing is that you just notice that the moment I executed the code again, the previous thing got vanished. But that's then what is the benefit of logging here, guys, if the previous thing will get vanished here? Yeah, because I want logging so that later on also, because you see in real world what will happen, you are going to deploy a web application to a particular server. Now when you have deployed your web application to a particular server, at that time it may happen that within your day there are many requests. Out of those many requests, some are failures, some are success and something, and then someone from your client said that okay, we face this kind of issue. Now you want to know when the issue happened, what was the reason of that issue, so you will go towards the log. But if you will just log on the console, then you won't get anything, because first of all you won't see this kind of console in your servers. So what we need is, we want that the logs should be available in some file, not only the console but some file also. So let's see what we can do for logging in the file. So as of now, let me just stop it. Now if you want to log it in the file, then we just need to do something like this. We need to say here logging dot file dot. So here you see, now we are getting the options. So there is two options, logging.file.name and logging.file.path. Let's see both of them one by one. First of all, let's go to this path. Yeah, and in path I will say something like logs. And before this, let me do something. Let me scroll this down. So just have a clear look onto this particular part. So here you see src main Java, all these things, src main resources, all these things, test, then JRE, Maven, src. So this src is going to show you that thing only, target and everything. Okay. Now I'm saying here something like this, logging.file.path, and let me just save it. So now let me execute it again. So on executing this again, you see I'm getting again all these things here, and let me say here like 13, something like this, and the application stopped. Now you will see that okay, still the things are getting logged here only. Where is the file? You just now told us that now it will be logged to a file. So for this you need to go here and you need to click on refresh. So let's go here, click on refresh. Now you see a change. This new folder got created by the name of logs, because here we gave the name as logs, so it got created here. Then here you see the default name of the log file is spring.log. So this is going to be your default name, and then whatever got logged here, same thing is getting logged here also. Only this banner is not getting logged, because what will you do with the help of banner? Nothing. So this banner is not getting logged, but beside this, from the very first line, each and everything is getting logged. So now just by looking on towards this file, you can see when the thing got started and when everything happened. So I can close this, and yeah, now even if you wish, I can close all of this. I can refresh it n number of times, but this file will remain there only. So in future also, any point of time, you can see that at what point of time this application was started, and then what happened, what was the request, what were the things. So you can just check out the things here. Yeah. So this is how the things are going to work for us, guys. So this we have seen. So we just now saw that this way we can create within a folder. Folder name, this is your choice, whatever you want to give. The file name is going to be default here, spring.log. Now let's do something more interesting. This time you see that we were having one more property, and the another property was the name. So let's go here and say as name, and in this one let me call it as demo.log. Yeah. This way. Now let's see what it will do. So let me just execute it again. So I'm just executing this again, and this time let me call it as 17, or yeah, 17. So I have done something like this. Now let me again refresh this particular thing. So I have done. Now you see this demo.log got created. Outside your logs folder, this demo.log is getting created, and here it is showing you the latest with the data 17. Okay. So here for this 17 only it is showing you, previous logs it is not showing, yeah, because previous log was getting logged here in spring.log. So in spring.log, if you see, only this 13 got logged. So after this nothing got logged here, yeah, because here we just changed the things in between. So this is something which we should not do first of all. So we need to be very clear that in which file we want to log the things. It should not happen that in between you are just randomly changing the name of your file and everything. Otherwise it won't come to know that okay, it needs to copy the previous data to the new data or something like this. Okay, so as of now, since I'm just giving you a demo, so I'm just doing changes step by step, but at the end I'll show you the complete thing which you just need to do. So now we have seen two options, that if we give the path, then we can create within a folder, but then it is going to be have a default name as spring.log. Besides this, if we want to have our own name, then we can say logging.file.name, yeah, and then it will be again logging but outside the folder. So what we can do is, if you want this file within this folder, so a simple option is you can see here logs and slash. So you just give the complete path. Now it will automatically come to know that it needs to put the demo.log file within the logs folder. But now you will say that okay, Abhishek, now this thing is getting repeated. Do we need to give it like 2 times or something, or is there any shortcut also? Actually, the complete right way is that you do something like this. So just imagine this as that we have created a variable for the path, yeah, and the variable name is something like this. So the next time, instead of giving the complete value, what we can do is we can just say here dollar symbol and then something like this, braces and this. So this is going to be the case. So here I'm giving the variable name and then I'm saying that this variable and this is the complete path. So let me delete the previous things, otherwise you will get confused. So let me delete this logs also and everything, and let me just refresh. So now you see all those things have been deleted. So let me just execute it again. So on executing, let me this time let's say 19. Okay, so now let me just refresh it again, and this time you see logs folder got created. Within the logs folder we are getting demo.log as the file name. So file name is as per our choice and the folder name is also as per our choice. Another interesting thing you see, now you will say that okay, Abhishek, the name of file is same as the application name. So isn't it possible that we can use this also as a variable name? The answer is yes, and actually that is the benefit. So this also, if possible, you can do it like this. So let's do something like this. So let's again say dollar here and let's do it like this. So now what we are saying is our application name is demo, our path name is logs, and the file name is going to be within the path and then the application name .log. So let me just delete it again. So I have deleted this and let me just restart it. So this time when I will start it and let me say 21. So you see it got here, and let me just refresh the things. So now you will see the things are getting logged here for this particular 21. So this 21 got logged here. Now let's again execute the code. So I'm again executing this particular code, and this time let me say here 23. Yeah. So on saying 23, you see what happened here. So we will go here, and here do we have any option to refresh? So let's open this file again. So now you see that is it storing the previous logs or not? So you will see that again it started here. First of all 21, then we just closed it, then it again got started here with 23, and here it is saying like 23. So now all the logs are getting created here, and currently if you see this way, the size is something like 6871 bytes. So this is the size of this particular file. So let's close it again. Let's run this same thing again once more, and let's go to this particular one, and now let's say 25. So again this again got updated. Let me just refresh it once. So we are here guys, and this time again you see it got refreshed. So it has data for 21 also, 23 also, 25. I'm just changing the number so that it is easier for you to understand that everything is getting logged. All the history it is going to maintain from start to stop. Yeah. And here if you see the size, so size is also getting increased to 10,310 bytes. Yeah. So this is the point. Now here, since it is just a simple application, so it is getting stopped after every execution, I need to start it again here. But in the real world, try to understand what will happen. In the real world, it is going to be your web application, which will be hosted in some particular server. Now for that web application, you are not going to close it again and again. It will just keep running forever. You are just going to deploy it and then it will just keep running. In between, it may happen that you are just releasing some updates, but you are not going to stop your application completely. Otherwise, your business will go down. So in that case, what will happen? Since your application is running forever, so logs are also getting created forever. And during one whole day, there we can say that you are getting sometimes, let's say 100,000, 10,000, or maybe something a million or billion number of requests. And each and everything is getting logged. So just try to imagine the size of the file at end of every day. Okay, not at end of every day. I mean, even after every hour or every minute, if you see, the size of your file is going to be very, very big. Now you tell me, what will you do with such a very large file? Like here, the size is small as of now. So if you want to debug anything, that at this particular time what happened, at that particular time what happened, so it will be easier for you to just scroll up and down and see how the things worked. But in that much amount of big file, it is going to be very, very difficult to identify on which particular day what happened, because there is just a one single file. And your application is going to run something like 365 days a year. In case if it is a leap year, then it will run 366 days. Yeah. But each and everything will be logged in a single file. So are you getting my point? It will be very difficult to understand or debug anything from that file. You won't be able to analyze the things. Now, what is the solution? So if you have understood the problem, suggest pause the video and tell me what can be the solution. Yeah. So you will say that, okay, Abhishek, one solution is that instead of directly looking towards the file, what we can do is we can create something like a different kind of tool. We can say we can make usage of Grafana, we can make usage of Kibana to analyze the logs. So that is fine. But the point is, those kind of tools also will depend on these files only. And it may happen that those tools are sometimes down. I mean, those are third-party tools. This file is something completely in your hand. So what is solution for this? A better solution would have been that now I know that my things are getting logged here. So what if that for every day some file gets created automatically? Don't you think so that is more beneficial? That every day a new file gets created for me. Yes, I mean that there should be a file, something like, so I mean just I'm writing here. So here in this file, whenever you wish to do some comment, you can do it like this. So what if your file name can be, instead of demo.log, the file name should be something like this. That is 2807 and then 2024. So this is the file name. Now just by looking toward this, I'm very confident it contains the log of 28th of July. Then there is a file name by this particular name 29. I'm very confident just by looking this, it is showing me the log of that particular day. Then there is something, let's say 8, and here I'm giving something, let's say 7. So this contains the log of 7th of August. So this way, for every day, there is a new file. But then you will say, okay, Abhishek, then it is going to be very difficult here. I mean, here we are taking this name here. So that means, do we need to change it again and again every day? I mean, that is not a possible solution. Okay. So that's not a feasible solution. Another thing, here also you see there is a small issue. The small issue is, I told you that your application is very popular. So within a day, you are getting billions of requests. So within a single day also, it will be very, very difficult for you to log or analyze this particular file. Because in one single day, let's say you are getting billions of requests. So how will you check this? How will you analyze this? So its size can go to be something like 1 GB or something like this. Or it can be even go to 1 TB or something like this. It will be very difficult to load the file, open the file, then read the file, understand it. Okay. So it's going to be difficult. So I have one more solution. The solution is, what if that I can somehow limit that a single file size is going to be something like 1 MB only or something like 10 MB only. So a single file size can be 10 MB only. The moment it skips the 10 MB, a new file should be created for the day. And then it can be something like this 00. Okay, so let's say this is the initial file for 7th of August, and then this is going to be next file. So once this size completes 10 MB, a new file will be created for that day. Once it completes 10 MB, a new file gets created. When it completes 10 MB, again a new file gets created. So that means for one day you are having multiple files of 10 MB each, because we have somehow mentioned at 10 MB only. And in some scenario, if after this the new day gets started, then automatically it will change the date to 8th of August, and by default it is going to be 00. Okay, so this way. So now there are two requirements. First of all, I want a new file name every day. Secondly, within a day also, I want my file size to be maximum 10 MB only. Once my file size exceeds 10 MB, a new file should be created, and there should be numbering like this 00, 01, 02, 03, 04 and so on, so that I can just see when this file got created and I can have a very small time. This 10 MB again is as per your choice. If you wish, you can make it as 1 MB only. If you wish, you can make it as some KBs only, but an ideal size is 10 MB, which is always suggested in the actual applications also. So I want some this kind of feature. So for these kind of features, we basically need two more properties. So those properties are like little bit difficult here to write. So let me just see if I remember the names. Otherwise what I'll do is I'll just copy paste it from some different place. Okay, so yeah, here it is. So you just need to say logging.file. Now the first one is file name pattern. So this one we will be using. Yeah, now here it says that I will provide you the pattern for this particular file, and this is the default value. So what we will do is we will copy this value also here, and we will select it, and let's paste that value. So it will pick something like this, but what I want is I want my file name to be this only. So I want this as my initial file name. Then after this initial file name, I want it to be in this format. So I want a hyphen here. So I'll just say a hyphen here instead of a dot. This is your choice. And then this %i is for this 00, 0001, this thing. So here also I want a hyphen, and gz means a zip folder. So this is going to be your zip folder for the previous file. I want it to be as log only as of now. Okay, so this is the kind of name I want here as log. So this I have given. So let me just again repeat what I have done. I have given this file name, because in this file name automatically it will understand it needs to keep in this path with this particular name. Then I'm saying it is going to print me the year and something like this. But here you see first it is showing me the year. So what I want is I want DD first, or you see this is also easier to like in order to identify in your file explorer, because first of all year wise, then month wise, and this wise, so it will do. Then after this I want another strategy of the size. So I will say here logging dot log back, and the next one is max file size. So this is the one, logging dot logback ruling policy dot max file size, and here what I'll do is I'll call it as 10 MB, something like this. Now the point is that this 10 MB is going to be very difficult for me to show you here. Like as of now I won't be able to generate 10 MB of data. So let me make it simple for my scenario. Let me make it as 1 KB. Okay, so just so that I can show you the demo that multiple files are getting created, I have made it as 1 KB. Now let's see what happens. So now let's again execute the code. So this is the previous one. Let me just delete it. Okay, so let me just delete the previous one. I'm just deleting to avoid any confusion. So let me execute it again. So on executing this, you see again, first of all I'm just saying S12. So let's have a simple log first of all. So with 12 it got ended here and it went something like this. Now let's refresh it. So you see logs got created, And here within the logs, you see the name is only demo.log, which means that till this particular point it is working fine. But you will say that, okay, now this rolling policy and all these things didn't came to effect, but that's not a case. See here. Here it logged these many things. So everything was getting logged. Now let's try to see the size. So the size is currently 869 bytes only. Now our rolling policy will come into effect if either the size is going to exceed 1 KB or the day is going to change. Currently there is no chance that it can change the day because I'm recording the video at around 1:30 afternoon. So that is not going to happen. So let me just execute it again. And this time let me give some number as 13. Yeah. So now let's refresh it again. So on refreshing this, you see that here this getting logged here. Yeah. So this particular time, you see, first of all, previous log is also getting shown here, and then this new log is also coming here. So this is looking again fine as of now. Now again, let's see the size. So now the size is 4000 bytes and something. But this is because a single execution. Here it is getting stopped again and again, and it's a single execution. So both got logged in this one. Let's execute it one more time. Now this time when I'm executing this time it will come to know that existing file size is more than 1 KB. So this file which is already available, its size is more than 1 KB. So what it should do is it should create a new file. So let's go here and now let's say 19. Yeah. And now let me just refresh it. So again when I refresh, now you see within the logs folder I have two files. One is demo.log, other one is the previous one, demo.log hyphen something like this. And see, this is just a small issue which you will be getting here, that now it is going to print you demo.log hyphen this something like this and 0. So if you don't want it to be complete in this particular way, then what we can do is we can just use this particular name as spring.application.name here. Okay. So that also can be used. Otherwise it will keep on saying you demo.log. So this .log will come twice. If you don't want it, you can just use this application.name. So that is going to be enough here, guys. Yeah. Now let's see how it is going to look like. So in the demo.log, you will see only the latest log for this 19. For this latest execution is only getting printed here. But all the previous log went to this particular file. So all your previous log went to this particular file here, yeah, in 0. So this is the one. Now the size of the previous file, you see that particular size is going to be something like 4308 bytes, and the size of this particular file you see is going to be 3439 bytes. Now again when I will be executing this code here, so let me just execute it again, and let me just say this time here 10 only again. Yeah. And now let's refresh it. So you see again when I executed this, it came to know that existing file size is more than 1 KB. Hence what it did, it made it with -1. So this -0 is the older one, then -1 got created here. So this you can see with -1, and now the latest log is also always in the demo.log. So whatever is your latest log, that will remain in demo.log. Once its size is going to be completed, data will be copied to the previous file. A new file will be created here. Here, since it is a simple application, so whenever I run the code, at that time only it analyzes the size of the existing file, and hence it changes. But once you will be doing it in the actual application, which will keep running 24/7, so this will happen automatically. The moment size will exceed 1 KB, it will ensure that all the logs are inconsistent, and then it will change the file. So it will keep on changing the file, and hence we call it as rolling policy. So this is how the things are going to work here, guys. Obviously in your real world application, you won't keep the size as 1 KB. Otherwise, I mean, what information will you get from these just 32 lines? So at least size should be something useful for you, something like 1 MB or 10 MB depending on your logs and everything, so that you don't end up in having n number of files for particular day. Like there needs to be a particular balance between the number of files and the size of a particular file. Now, So today, besides logging, what we have learned is we have learned few more properties also. This is going to be a very common property which will always come into the picture, spring.application.name. So from now onwards, we will ensure this property at least remains for us forever. These four properties are your choice, whether you want to log it in a file or this particular way or not, hence only you need this. Now some of you will say that, okay Abhishek, currently you are explaining the things, so you must have practiced it at least once, and hence you are able to tell us that okay, this is the property name, that is the property name. But how will we remember what is the property name? Or what if the shortcut is not coming? Like here you were typing, the things are coming, and in our case if it won't come, then how we will give the complete name, or what is the solution? So as you know that the rule of this channel is that my goal is not that you just keep on watching my videos. You need to watch the video so that you can understand the thing, or if you forget something, then you need to, so that you can always come back here. But I'm also giving you a big perspective also in order to learn the things. Now what you guys can do is you just need to simply go here, and here this is the place. So you see, for this Spring there is a particular website where you will see the complete documentation available. Now it is not possible for any newcomer, any new learner to read out the complete documentation. But within that, at least what you guys can do is that there is a particular place for common application properties. And here you can see all the properties which are available. So here you will see the property name, you will see the description. Okay. So all these things. So let's see what are the properties which we use today. So we use something like this: logging.logback, ruling policy, file name pattern. What it does: pattern for the rolled over log file names. Then what we also read was something like this: max file size, which provides you the maximum log file size, and as I mentioned you, default is 10 MB. Then there is also an option how many previous log files you want to keep. So that also, if you wish, what we want, I want previous files to be deleted, but that depends on the management. Yeah, but if you wish, you can do it like this: max history, and it will just keep only the latest 7 files, all the previous one it will just keep on deleting. Yeah, then how much backup it will take, so all that things you will can do here. If you wish, you can change the date format also. If you wish, you can change the logging level also. So by default it will keep logging everything, but if you wish that I just want to log the errors, I only want to log the information, so that also you can change here. Not only related to the logging, but each and every property is available here, guys. Okay, so this is a single place where you will see all the properties. So initially we saw the logging properties, these are cache properties here. Then we scroll down, these are the mailing properties. In future you will use that. Then we have here JSON properties, some data properties, transaction properties, migration properties. We will later on make the web applications, so web properties, server properties, security, actuator, dev tools, docker properties, test container, testing properties. So all these things are available here, guys. Now if you will ask me that, okay Abhishek, do we need to remember all these? The answer is no. You don't need to remember all this. Hardly, we just need to remember at least one or two only. Like some of the common things which I always remember is spring.application.name, logging.file.name, logging.file.path. Only these three I remember. Then server.port and few others I remember. I don't remember that rolling policy and everything. I know that there exists something like rolling policy, and then only that much is enough for me. Do remember that there exists something like a rolling policy. Later on, whenever I need it, I will come here, I will see what is something related with the rolling policy. Yeah, so that is the way you need to work here, guys. Besides this also, if you want to learn more details about logging, so again that also you can check here. So everything which I have explained you is available here. But the point is, now you will say that, okay Abhishek, then we can just learn from here only. What is the need of your videos? The point is, as a newcomer, if you will directly jump on towards this, it will provide you a huge amount of information. Okay, so you will see so much amount of information is available. Now by default, all these information is not at all required to you. Only a basic information is required. Once you become pro in that particular thing, then you can start learning these things more. Okay, so this is something like a habit. So first of all, you just learn what I'm explaining you. Once you feel you are comfortable in this, then you jump towards the documentation. Directly, if you will jump into the documentation, believe me, you will feel that okay, there is too many things to learn, and then you will just get confused. Yeah. So as of now, this much amount of logging information is fine for you. You can practice the things. Later on in future, once you feel you are more comfortable or any new thing is required, you can always come here. You can check the latest documentation and everything. I always just keep on doing the so. It is not a case that everything is there. I know that okay, in which page what is mentioned. That is not a case. Okay. Whenever the things will required, I will come here. But for this, at least I need to have a basic knowledge. So if you liked the video, then you know what needs to be done. You just need to like the video. You need to give me the thumbs up. You need to comment something. Then you need to share it with your friends. You need to subscribe the YouTube channel. You need to follow me on Instagram, on GitHub, on LinkedIn, and so on. And let's meet in the next video, guys. Thanks, everyone.